Hello, good evening, and a warm welcome to The Turning Point. The Turning Point, we thought we'd talk about matters connected to the economy and the wider picture, especially the international picture, because no country these days can be isolated and on its own. And we thought we'd bring someone who knows a thing or two about this very important market that we're talking about, which is, of course, Sri Lanka's second largest export market, the United Kingdom. And our guest is a very wonderful person with a wealth of experience. Let's just have a quick look to see who that person is. And of course, our guest is a former foreign minister, a politician with years and years and years of service to the people of Sri Lanka, and currently the High Commissioner to the Court of St. James's in the United Kingdom, His Excellency the High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Mr. Rohitha Bogollagama. Very good day to you, sir, and good day to you, and welcome to The Turning Point for ITN Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Pahara. I'm happy to be associated in this unique program that you all have now launched in Sri Lanka, and happy to be associated at this interview this morning.
Thank you very much. High Commissioner, Britain is been a long-term friend, is really family almost. And we have a very important commercial market in the United Kingdom. How goes it with the High Commission there? What efforts are you doing? What have you got to report back to the people of Sri Lanka who are looking for economic opportunities all the time, especially with the recovery of Sri Lanka back after our difficulties over the past 2 years?
In fact, it's a tremendous opportunity that we have now come across because of the regaining Sri Lanka's own strengths back at home, where it has recovered from the downturn of the economy to a more stable outlook for every one of us, not only for the foreign countries, but for everyone who wish to be associated in Sri Lanka's trade, commerce, and investment climate. So that, I think that's the beginning phase for me to come into this program and announce that we are a very, I would say, upward trend country where the British eye is concerned, or British engagement is concerned. With a new Labour government that has come into office within the last 1 month or so, and we are now poised in order to turn a couple of chapters here. One lies in terms of our traditional relationship that dates back to a couple of centuries, I would say, starting from 1795, where the first the British company, East India Company, launched its engagement in Sri Lanka. Now, having said that, we have gone through several phases, both in trade and in investment between Britain and that of Sri Lanka. And currently, our trade relationship stands over $1 billion trade exports out of Sri Lanka to the United Kingdom. And also, we have a thriving tourism segment in the UK, where we have about 1/4 of our tourist arrivals coming to Sri Lanka is now getting generated out of the United Kingdom. So that we have marked accomplishments for us to address in our long agenda of our bilateral ties in commerce, in trade, and in investment. And for that, a long way we have come stabilizing the country's economy under the current president, Honorable Rani Wickremesinghe. So it's a major selling point for me to look at in engaging the British establishment with that of Sri Lanka's, I would say, the forward march or the forward agenda.
And High Commissioner, thank you. You were, I think, the first person, the first diplomat to be accredited under King Charles III. Can you talk very briefly about that experience, about meeting the King of England?
Yes, of course, it was a unique gesture that came my way. I'm been the first Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to St. James's Court. And under the first, I would say, King Charles III, to be receiving my accreditation to the palace, so that I made history in terms of becoming the first Sri Lankan High Commissioner accredited under the King Charles III. So I think His Majesty was extremely pleased to receive me and also extend the warm wishes for our bilateral relationship between Sri Lanka and that of the United Kingdom.
Thank you. Can I just move back onto trade and opportunity Sri Lanka, opportunity Britain for Sri Lanka and so on. How is the, we know that there is a sizable number of Sri Lankan diaspora in Britain, and some of them have done remarkably well and done our country proud. How are they viewing the opportunities back in Sri Lanka? Are they engaging with the High Commission to see if they can invest in Sri Lanka, invest in the people of Sri Lanka, and in the meantime help themselves too?
In fact, there's a very, I would say, marked improvement in terms of the relationship with that of the diaspora, numbering over 800,000 Sri Lankans living in the United Kingdom. What we have done over here is to open our doors to all sections of the diaspora and bringing them under one united front of Sri Lankan identity, not a racial identity, but it is Sri Lanka first identity coming to represent the Sri Lanka's diaspora. So I think this has paved a greater, I would say, degree of engagement and inclusiveness, so that today the High Commission has the staff coming from all communities. We have got the Tamil staff working in the High Commission. We have got the Tamil members of the Trade and Commerce engaging back and forth with Sri Lanka and via the High Commission. We have a very popular system in terms of encouraging dual citizenship between Sri Lankans living here and that of their origin in Sri Lanka, so that there are a large number of people now seeking dual citizenship from our diaspora. That's a very important sign of their commitment by their own mother country. And today we have opened the doors for that purpose. So I think diaspora engagement is one of the prime objectives of any mission, overseas mission, in order to see that our consular services are rendered at its best potential and at its best capacity, and the efficacy along with the efficiency of our systems are being put into action, so that we have a quite a good, strong dialogue maintained with the diaspora of all sections. So I think it's a good beginning for me to witness or in the United Kingdom. Equally, the United Kingdom's own establishment, both the political, social, and the economic fronts, are also encouraging this trend. So I think it's a very important, I would say, milestone that we are currently achieving in bringing about one nation, one country concept in terms of Sri Lanka's identity or in the United Kingdom.
And thank you very much, High Commissioner Bogollagama. Let's go for a quick break on the Turning Point ITN Sri Lanka, and we'll be back once again with the High Commissioner to the UK, His Excellency Rohitha Bogollagama.
Now best ever sunlight. පෙරටත් වඩා සුවඳක් සමගින් සුපිරි සේදුමක්. Best ever sunlight රුපියල් 70කින් මිලාඩු කළා. දැන් රුපියල් 380ක් පමණයි.
ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය කොණ්ඩෙටම සුවිශේෂී කුමාරිකා hair oil මේ හැම ස්වභාවික අමුද්‍රව්‍යකම පෝෂණය ඔබේ හිස කෙස්වලට ලබා දෙනවා.
සෝභා ගුණයෙන් පෝෂණීය කෙස් කලඹකට කුමාරිකා hair oil.
සමේ ඇතුළටම ගමන් කරමින් dark spots ආම් කරමින් දෙගුණ එක glow එකක් ලබා දෙයි.
Glow and Lovely serum cream.
Prima Katumi Fantamai.
ලක්ස් කියන්නේ සබන් ගැටයක් විතරක් නෙවෙයි සමට සත්කාරයක් නවලක්ස්.
රුපියල් 50 මයිලෝ සැෂයක සමගින් දරුවන් දිනපතා පෝෂණයෙන් ඉදිරියට.
And welcome back to the Turning Point for ITN Sri Lanka. Our guest today is His Excellency the High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Mr. Rohitha Bogollagama. Welcome back, High Commissioner Bogollagama, and we're thankful again for you joining our program, The Turning Point, here on ITN Sri Lanka. What's the position right now, High Commissioner? We noticed that Britain has provided plenty of opportunity for skilled workers, which is a little bit better than going for lower paid salaries in the Middle East. How is that going? How's that program working? Do you find lots of Sri Lankans there with skilled working capabilities?
In fact, there's two sides to it. One is the skill in terms of the professional categories have been heavily encouraged by the by the UK. And in saying that, you have the health sector, opportunities coming for the caregivers and also the nursing staff in big time, and also the medical profession. Having said that, we also have a new opportunity that got unveiled with the military in the Great Britain, where the recruitment is now open for Sri Lankans as well to join the military in the United Kingdom. What I mean by the military is all departments, including the infantry, is being encouraged for recruitment, and there have to be fresh takers in terms of military cadets coming to the United Kingdom, and they want to open it up to the Commonwealth countries. So we are fortunate that we have got membership in the Commonwealth, and we are a Commonwealth founder member. And along with that, this opening is just started on the 19th of August. So I think it's Zoom interviews that they'll be initially conducting, but I'll be sharing more information on this with the President's office in Colombo, and looking forward for wider engagement of Sri Lankans coming into the United Kingdom from those channels as well. Second area or third area is the outsourcing engagement through the IT sector, where there are a lot of IT skills being encouraged into the United Kingdom, and this IT savvy society, along with that, the future development lies in the AI markets, along with the other associated professional engagements. So there are several companies from the United Kingdom. Now I'm encouraging back and forth ties in the AI segment, along with the guidance given by His Excellency Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is very much encouraging the development of our engagements in the futuristic AI segment. So I think we have already started one learning platform on the digital form, which we term as Public Learn platform, that where access is now found to a variety of universities across the world for short-term courses. So these are some of the initiatives we are now unleashed in the United Kingdom. I'm looking forward to broaden them, and also wider, I would say, business community engagement, trade engagement, along with that tourism promotion.
Thank you, High Commissioner. And can I ask you, there were some moves previously so that Sri Lankan driving licenses can be exchanged for British ones. How are you doing on that score?
It's a system that universally they apply. As far as your driving license is in English, within the first year of your arrival, that license is valid for you to drive a vehicle here. So provided it's in English, which is the case with Sri Lanka. But overall, in terms of adopting driving license to driving license, still the scheme we had to go through is by going through the tests that are being conducted in the United Kingdom. That applies even to our, I would say, diplomatic staff over here in the United Kingdom working at the High Commission. So I think if there's any further improvement, I would like to share that back forth.
Thank you. We thought that we might be able to have pursue opportunities in terms of heavy goods drivers, if that was possible, so that Sri Lanka can fill, because we understand that Britain has a shortage of HGV drivers.
Yeah, we do experience a lot of skilled sector shortages because now no longer Britain is part of the EU. So the inflow that came from the EU is now rather restricted, and thereby there's great opportunities for Commonwealth countries to be part of the supply chain to the United Kingdom. So these are matters that we are following through, and we like to take it forward accordingly.
Thank you, High Commissioner. On that note, let's go for a quick break, and the turning point for ITN Sri Lanka will return along with Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Mr. Rohitha Bogollagama.
ගුණ පරපුරක සහතිකය ඇංක
බුද්ධිමත් ඇගේ තීරණය ප්‍රීමා ස්ටෙලා. අපි හැමෝම කැමති.
ග්‍රෑම් 160ක් ලංකාවේ වාසිම මිලකට තියෙන පැක් එකක්. සිග්නල්.
ද්විත්වාරක්ෂාවක් දෙන නව ක්ලෝගාඩ් නැචරල් සෝල්ට්.
ඇඳුම් ගැන පෙරටත් වඩා හොඳින් බලාගන්න. ඩබල් ක්ලීනින් ක්‍රිස්ටල් සහ ඩබල් පර්ෆියුම් ලොක් සමග නව බෙස්ට් එවර් සන්ලයිට්. පෙරටත් වඩා සුවඳක් සමගින් සුපිරි සේදුමක්.
తన పేషెంట్ని నీ ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటో తెలుసా?
ඔවුන්ගේ පරස්පර ලෝකයන් අභියෝග හා ප්‍රහසන මිශ්‍රයකින් ගැටෙන අද්විතීය මිත්‍රත්වයේ හෘදයාගම කතාව.
మాఫియా సార్ వాళ్ళతో పెట్టుకోకూడదు.
డాక్టర్ సార్ మనతో అబద్ధం ఆడుకో.
දේවදාස් සෙනසුරාදා දහවල් 12:30ට.
රට හදන ප්‍රතිපත්ති සුසිල් ප්‍රේම්ජයන්ත සංජීව එදිරිමාන්න අජිත් පී පෙරේරා නලින්ද ජයතිස්ස සුධර්මන් සමක තුලාව අද රාත්‍රී 10:30ට. රට හදන හැටි රටට කියන්න ජනපති අපේක්ෂකයන් වෙනුවෙන් වෙන්වුණු ටෙලිවිෂන් අවකාශය.
ජනරංජන සමග
ජාතික ජනබලවේගයෙන් ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂක අනුර කුමාර දිසානායක
කැඩපත.
මේ මොහොතේ සිට මේ දවසේ සිට මේ පැයේ සිට මේ විනාඩියේ සිට මේ තත්පරයේ සිට විශ්ව ශක්තිය රටට එකතු වෙනවා. විශ්වයට ප්‍රශංසා වේවා.
අපි මිනිහා කෙල්ලව ගත්ත ගමන් මිනිහා ෆිල්ම් එකේ පාර්ට් 2 රිලීස් කරොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? රෝමියෝ කියලා කියන්නේ කම්පියුටර් එකක්. ඒක සර්කිට් එකක් නෙවෙයි.
And welcome back to the turning point for ITN Sri Lanka. Our guest tonight is Mr. Rohitha Bogollagama, who is, of course, former Foreign Minister and currently Sri Lanka's High Commissioner in London to the Court of St. James's, no less. And High Commissioner, how are we doing? How is Sri Lanka doing in terms of our, shall we say, diplomatic relations and the diaspora, the national issue, if you like? How are we doing there?
So I think on the diaspora score, the widest possible engagement I have been following through, and with the British establishment, particularly now that the Labour government is in office, there's wide representation that the Labour MPs count as well, along with our diaspora presence in some of their constituencies, which is a very encouraging factor because most of them know Sri Lanka well, and equally some of them know personally well because of their travel, their wider electoral support the Sri Lankans have been catering towards, etc., has brought a combined effect in terms of our closeness with the British political establishment. So with that, I am also trying to pursue their goals for regular, I would say, dialogue being generated on our key fronts. One is our political reforms, along with that also the northern factors, which has been also pending for a while, and which our president is very keenly advocating towards wider, I would say, transparency in our policy framework. So that those are very encouraging notes. And no longer that we are getting nailed down, I have witnessed that, to a one given assessment or a perception. So I think that is widely changing and positively changing towards the benefit of Sri Lanka. And that is why we want to maintain the closest possible political engagement back and forth between Great Britain and that of Sri Lanka. I am sure our trades going in terms of democracy, going in terms of regular elections and elections being held on the due dates, different from some of the other countries, have brought us tremendous goodwill between our two fraternities, British and that of Sri Lanka. So I think for us, we are looking forward for a very close, I would say, sincere and transparent engagement with the political makeup of the Westminster and that of Sri Lanka's political establishment. So I think these are very positive, and I would say as the High Commissioner is a very encouraging note for me to share the positivities of a close relationship that dates back to a couple of centuries.
Excellent. That's very good news, especially because of the new Labour government who are traditionally very concerned about these matters. So it appears that the High Commissioner and the High Commission, the mission in London, are doing their mission, I suppose. Very good indeed. Thank you for that. High Commissioner, if you were to look at it and if you were to talk to to our fellow citizens in the UK, what do they say about back home, apart from missing our beaches and our sun and our sea and so on? What are they concerned about back home?
I would say the first thing they are seeking is the stability in the country. They have seen what Sri Lanka has gone through on many occasions. So I don't think they wish any repetition of such experiences for their loved ones back home. Their parents, their children, their families, their relatives have suffered in the past. And when they see the stability returning back to their homes, back to their parents, back to their children, and for the future of Sri Lanka as their own country, that's a very positive sign and a very encouraging note I get from the diaspora over here. So that is the beginning of a stable relationship between that of the diaspora and that of the Sri Lankan government and the rest of the country. So I think that is what is most encouraging, what I have witnessed now. Because I have traveled right across, back and forth in the United Kingdom, from Scotland to Wales, from the other areas of London to all the areas where there's large presence of the Sri Lankan community living, irrespective of their racial identities. We have been engrossed in terms of wider dialogue and connectivity. So the voice that is emerging is we seek stability and we want prosperity for our nation through the passage of stability. So I think that's the strongest message I could convey to the Sri Lankans back home as much as to the ones here.
And High Commissioner, the stability, both economic and political, that we've had for the past 2 years, how important has that been in your quest to represent Sri Lanka in
Go to a representation of a High Commission over here. Without having a very stable economy back home, our exports cannot be generated for exporting our commodities. Our goods cannot be grown in Sri Lanka. Our agricultural produce cannot be found in Sri Lanka. Our industrial production can't take place in the absence of stable economic conditions and a stable environment for the workers to perform their due engagements. Then comes for tourism. How could a tourist visit from the United Kingdom in Sri Lanka in the absence of stability? In the event we are still finding petrol queues, we are still going for the gas queues. In the event there's no food in the hotels, if there's no medicine in the hospitals, what about the travel advisories that will flow across Sri Lanka and warning the international community from traveling back and forth to Sri Lanka? So these are factors that we have been benefiting out of being able to avoid once again the resurrection of such calamities back to our people. So I think that is the first and the most important factor. As a High Commission, I could represent a stable country with strengths emerging and future being clear in terms of in terms of security for the people and stability for the overall economic conditions in the country.
Thank you, High Commissioner. That's excellent. And actually, as we come to the end of our program today, we are delighted that you were able to make time, create time, and give us your message to our fellow citizens here in Sri Lanka, especially at this sort of critical time. And secondly, of course, thank you to all those members of your mission who are clearly doing an absolutely marvelous job, a champion job, as they say in Wales. And I'm sure you're sort of familiar with that. So thank you, High Commissioner Bogollagama. We wish you all the very best in your endeavors. And I hope you'll come back in time for a very important event that's happening on the 21st of September. Thank you very much indeed, and bless you all.
Thank you, Farhas. One other matter, if I'm to add, the Sri Lankan cricket team is now in the United Kingdom, and they played very well in Manchester in the first encounter, in the first test against England. So that I think I'm looking forward for a positive development in the 3-test series for Sri Lanka's performance in the United Kingdom. Second test being at the Oval, and third at the second test being at the Lords, and the third at Oval. I think after 10 years, we are now started off in a very good trade in bringing the Sri Lankan national cricket team for a 3-fixture test venue and also an agenda. So I wish our Sri Lankan test team equally the very best in the coming days. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Jive over to that. Thank you very much. And that's the way it was on the Turning Point for ITN Sri Lanka. Take care and bless you all.